Hello loves, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another story from the African narratives of ORISHA, spirits, and other deities. This book is going to be linked in the description if you would like to get it. I highly recommend it. It is a textbook. She is thick. She has a ton of stories. This is very valuable information when it comes to your studies. And so sometimes we read from the book and we talk about some of the stories, and we analyze them in an educational format, analyzing them and seeing what lessons we can learn from them, especially because stories like this are super important when it comes to understanding how our ancestors processed different information, but because oral tradition is traditionally the way that things are taught. And so listening to stories is so important in order for you to understand not only spirit, but the relationship that our ancestors have with spirit. So with that said, we're going to jump into the story. But real quick, before we get started, do not forget, y'all, we are going to Egypt next year in January. I'm so excited. We're doing a spiritual retreat in Egypt. We're going to be having a full moon in Leo ceremony. We're going to be to the pyramids. We're going to be sailing down the Nile. We're going to have dinner with locals. We're going to be at the temples. It's going to be amazing. We're going to do a lot of ceremony. There's going to be a recalling your power from past lifetimes attunement that's happening, and we're going to have a workshop as well. We're going to be doing a spiritual bath. It's going to be amazing. I am so excited. There's only 2 spots left for the early bird, so definitely make sure you secure your spot before they're gone. The link for that will be down below. With that being said, we're going to jump in and get started. So we're going to be doing a story on Obatala today, because you guys know I usually pick the story with bibliomancy. So I'll go like this and I'll ask my ancestors, which one should I do today, and it landed on this one. So this is the one we're going to do. It's on page 69. Again, I will have this book in the description for those who are going to want to get it. I highly recommend getting it for your own personal spiritual studies and your own personal ancestral studies as well. So we're going to be reading story number 1, and it is called Obatala Encounters Misfortunes. Okay, so it says, long ago, Obatala, stubborn character and a state of drunkenness, got him into trouble, and he missed the opportunity to create the world. After his failed mission, he appeared before Olodumare, who said, what you did, Obatala, is a serious matter. Your behavior has cost you the creation of the world. I hope you have learned a valuable lesson, Obatala said. Yes, I did, Olodumare said. That is good to hear, because from now on, palm wine is your prohibition. Don't ever drink it again. Olodumare gave Obatala the task of molding the bodies of human beings with the primordial clay provided by Nana Buruku. For this reason, Obatala is also called Ala Morere, the owner of good clay. Obatala began molding the bodies of man, but he did not take seriously Olodumare's prohibition about drinking palm wine. On the days that Obatala got very drunk, the mold of man came out with defects, deformations, crippled and hunchbacked. Others came out with very fair skin. Those were albinos. Because of this, albinos and those with physical deformities are adored by Obatala and are considered his special beings. Olodumare gave the newly created beings the breath of life. So that is the story. We always talk about the lesson of each story and the lesson of what happened within the story, the lesson, the purpose, what you learned, right? What did you learn from the story? And obviously go down in the comments and feel free to write down your thoughts on the story. And also you can go through the Orisha Storytime playlist if you wanted to see all the past stories we've already covered, because we've done a lot. We've covered different Orisha as well. But this story is really interesting because it really highlights not only things that we are addicted to and how they end up affecting our actions, affecting the things that happen, the things that come out of our actions in the future. It's really interesting how this story also talks about the different skin color and how it's almost how that specific, he specifically said don't do it again, and because you did it again, it turned into this is kind of what happens because you're not focused on task. You're drunk basically. So it's interesting that how the impacts of the choice to continue to do something that Obatala obviously wanted to do. It's really, really interesting. And I feel like this story, it speaks a lot to, when we fall into like our kind of like our vices and the things that we're really comfortable in, the things that we kind of run to. Like sometimes, like, you're not supposed to be doing something, but then you'll go do it anyway. Like you'll tell yourself, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna eat no sweets, or I'm gonna stop texting this person back, or I'm gonna stop looking at this thing or whatever. Like I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna do a social media detox, and then you just like get bored, and then you just hop right back on and you just eat that thing, and then like you didn't really stick to what you're supposed to stick to, and how there's consequences for those choices, which really this is a story about life, because this happens all the time. We tend to fall into a pattern of doing things that sometimes are not the best thing that we should be doing, and we do it anyway because we're humans, and we do that. And it's really interesting when you hear stories about spirit and how they also have these kind of moments in their stories, because it really mirrors the action within humanity and the things that happen in real life. So I think this story is really, really interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But I knew there was going to be a story about, especially talking about like the different skin colors and how other folks came to be, because that's one of the stories a lot of people are always like, well, one, we all come from Africa, right? Like as far as like DNA wise, like the origin, right? But how everything changed and how everything completely shifted in different areas of the world, like how everything evolved, is so interesting to see, kind of like having it in like a story like this. So I thought it was interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I feel like the story was really, really interesting. But yeah, I will have the little book again linked down below for those who are going to want to get it. I do recommend it. They basically went all over and collected stories in Africa, and it's such an important thing to have. It's such an important thing for community, for culture, to have these stories, not only to help to not feel disconnected, but also to understand the ancestors better. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know your thoughts down below, and we'll be doing another Orisha story time soon. We do one like at least once a month, so definitely make sure you check out the playlist, because we do have a Orisha Storytime playlist, so binge watch that. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a very blessed day.